All right, guys, look. The first thing I want to bring to your attention, girls, listen. Everything, I'm going to say this 100 times during this video, everything from 3-1-3-2 and 3-3-3-4 quizzes is fair game. The solving, the factoring, the crossing out logs on either side, the condensing, the expanding, horizontal and vertical asymptotes, all that sort of thing is going to be on your test tomorrow. You need to know with exponentials and logarithmic, you need to know how to find domain and range. You need to know how to find asymptotes. You need to know how to find intercepts, and you need to graph it. We did that on 3-1 to 3-2. For condensing and expanding, remember, if you're condensing, you're making smaller. So addition becomes multiplication. Subtraction becomes division, and coefficients become exponents. If you're expanding, you're pulling it apart. Multiplication becomes addition, division becomes subtraction, and exponents become coefficients. Right? This is all on the sheet that you guys have. When you're solving, remember that logs and exponentials are inverses of each other. So if you start off with a log problem, in order to get the log to cancel out, you have to do an exponential, and vice versa. E to the x and ln are inverses. So if you start off with an ln, the way that you get the natural log to go away is to go e to the x. I'm going to tell you guys as we go through this, you need to identify the function, figure out, isolate the function, get it by itself, then solve. And remember, you cannot what? Cannot take the natural log or the log of a negative number. If you get x equals a number, plug it back in. You should be able to check it. You have to know these two formulas. You have to know both of those formulas. And you have to know that a part is continuous. But you have to know that if for our compounding, however it's compounded, if it's yearly, your n is 1. Semi-annually, your n is 2. Quarterly, your n is 4. Monthly, your n is 12. If it's weekly, your n is 52. And if it's daily, your n is 365. Okay, so moving along, let's just do a couple problems together. All right. If we're going to start off here, we're expanding. Guys, it'll say expand or condense. You should be able to tell what you're doing. If you are multiplying, multiplication becomes what? Addition. Guys, when you are expanding, everything gets its own log. So this is log 5 plus log 3. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. In this case, same thing. I'm going to show you how I would do it. Some of you like to skip steps. I don't think that's a great idea, especially when there's a lot going on in exponents and all that. But I see, the major thing I see is a multiplication problem. So I'm going to rewrite this as log 3 plus log 2 to the third power. Is that fully expanded? No. My 3 has to become a coefficient. So your answer would be log 3 plus 3 log 2. You have to make sure you simplify everything. If you go step by step by step, it's a little easier to see. Some of you try to do it all in one step and then it gets messed up. Yeah?
Does it matter where the 5 goes? Or not the 5, the 3 goes?
Which 3?
That's
Yes, it has to go in front of the log that it's with. If you what?
If we made it 8?
No. All right, what do you see here? Division. Okay, you can look at this two ways. You could bring that 6 out in front of the whole thing, or that 6 really goes to what? It goes to both. It goes to the 6 here, and it goes to the 5. So you could rewrite this as log 6 to the 6th minus log 5 to the 6th, right? And then I have one more step. What do I have to do?
Put the exponent.
Good. Exponents become coefficients. So it would be 6 log 6 minus 6. That's not a 6. 6 log 5. Now I left the answers, I left the answers to the other ones, so if you wanted to work them out later, you guys could see what the right answers were. I'm just going through, just picking and choosing a few here and there. Matthias.
Would it be wrong to put 6 and then in parentheses log 6?
Nope, as long as you put the 6 out in front and then the parentheses, that's fine, because then it would distribute to both of them. What about this one? What do you see? As soon as you see division, what should you think? Subtraction. So I would rewrite this as log x minus log y to the 5th. And then I see, oh wait, I have one more thing I have to do. Log x minus 5 log y. There's a bunch of stuff going on here. As soon as you see multiplication, you think what? Addition. So you just rewrite it as log x plus log y plus, good, log z squared. If you see it right away, go ahead. Oh, I got to bring that 2 out in front. So it would be log x plus log y plus 2 log z. Good, Franco. All right. If we go here, we're doing the opposite, right? We're expanding at first. Now we're doing what? Condensing. So if you need to, draw yourself a little arrow, be like, ooh, that goes there, and that goes there, right? You can visually see coefficients become exponents. I see a subtraction sign. When I see subtraction, I think what? Division. We write the word log 1 time. So what should this log look like?
Log 3 to the 4th divided by,
Do you want us to simplify that?
or no,
No.
3 to the 4th power.
Log
3 to the 4th power. Okay, good.
to the
And
power
then
of
divided by 8 to the 4th power.
Do you need us to simplify?
No, if you want to, you can.
Can we do
Somebody asked me last period, well, can I write it like this? Is that the same thing? Yeah, right? That's the same thing. Because that 4 would go to the 3 and to the 8. That's fine.
I put in parentheses the other
Which one?
bit, the first one.
Hmm. What about here?
Multiplication.
It's all multiplication. So you're just going to write the word log 1 time, and then what's going to go in your parenthesis? 2 times 11 times 7. Just leave it like that.
So you don't want us to multiply?
No. What about here? First of all, what do you see?
Multiplication.
Okay, multiplication. And then if I have coefficients, they become...
Exponent.
So I would draw yourself a little arrow. It takes 2 seconds. I have the log base 3. I'm going to write it 1 time. And then I have what?
U to the 6 times
U to the 6 times
V to the 6.
V to the 6th. How else could I have written that? UV parentheses 6 power. That's fine. Somebody last period asked me, is it wrong if I wrote V to the 6th times U to the 6th? It's not wrong, but it's not 100% right because you're supposed to write it in order. But mathematically, it's not wrong. You can switch the order of multiplication, but can you switch the order of division? No. This one would be the natural log of what?
X over y to the 4th.
X over y to the 4th. You could not write natural log of y to the 4th divided by x. Those are 2 completely different things. So just get in the habit of writing. Read it left to right. Write it just like that. All right, a couple more, and then I have some examples at the end I want to do. What about this?
Log 6.
Okay, I'm going to write log 6. What does 20 become? An exponent. What does 5 become? So it would just be u to the 20th times v to the 5th. You can put it in parentheses. If you don't put it in parentheses, not that big a deal. I have a couple at the end I want to do that are a little more involved, just to kind of give you a heads up. What about this? Okay, division, good. How many times do I write the word log? Once. That was a big mistake that a lot of you guys did. You only write it once. When we're condensing, we're making it smaller, you only write it once. So it's what? Perfect. Good. Okay. Let's do a couple solvings. I'm not going to go through the whole thing and bore you guys. I know we've done this a bunch, but last period, the first thing I said, what do I do first? We yelled, ln. Do you do the natural log first? Guys, you've got to get your function by itself. If you need to bring in a color pencil or a highlighter or something, do that. But make sure you visually see, oh wait, my e to the exponent is not by itself. So what would I do first? Okay, you're going to add 5 to both sides. Good. So you have e to the x minus 1 equals what? 10. It's okay. So now that e is by itself, what do you do to both sides? The natural log. So those cancel out. You have x minus 1 equals, well, whatever the natural log of 10 is. And then what would you do? Add 1. If you guys are still having calculator issues, you need to ask me so we can get through that. But I'm not going to continue to solve these. What you need to see, guys, I left you all these answers. So tonight, if you want to try and work through them, you can see if you get the answers right or not. But we've done so many of these problems, so... What am I starting off with here in 12? Okay, but what kind of a function am I starting off with? Exponential. So God bless you. Think about what the opposite, God bless you, of exponential is. Log. Okay, so let's add 5 to both sides because we have to get that by itself. So I have 11 to the n minus 8 equals what number? 59. Good. So what's the opposite of 11 to the something power? Log 11. If I do log base 11 on this side, then I do log base 11 on this side. What happens to my log base 11 and my big ol' 11? They cancel out. So I have n minus 8 equals. Guys, how would I do this in my calculator?
You find
It's log base.
It's log 59 divided by log 11. And then once you get that ridiculous decimal in your calculator, what's the last thing you do to get n by itself? You add 8. Good. But you have to remember the change of base. If you don't have that button in your calculator, then you have to do it manually, so you have to know how to do it. All right, here we go. Come on. Keep going, keep going, keep going. What about this? What do I do first? Nah. Divide by 5. So I get 6 to the 3m equals 4. Now what? Log 6 on this side, log 6 on this side. So I have 3m equals, I would do log what? Over. Get some ridiculous decimal and do what? Divide by 3. Same thing here? Yeah. What are we going to do?
Should it be 4? Yeah.
Oh, I wrote it backwards. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think I said it right, and then I wrote it backwards. Log 4, right? Oh, no. I did it again. Log 6.
No, you did it right the last.
Okay, sorry. It's the little number.
Wait, what?
It's log 6 of 4. So it'd be log 6 over 4, like that.
Wait, isn't it what?
No,
It's the big number.
over little number, right? It'd be 4 over.
Okay, let's fix it from here. Okay, so log 6 on both sides, right? So I have 3m equals log what over log what? Log 4, the visually bigger number over log 6. And then on our calculators, we do what? Okay, divide by 3. Okay, good. All right, here, guys. What do I do first? Okay, we're going to add 5. Good. So I have 8 to the negative 5/8 equals 58. What's the opposite of big exponential 8?
Log 8.
So if I log 8 here, I'm going to log 8 here. So negative 5a equals what? How do I do this?
Log 58.
Log 58 divided by log 8. Get that decimal, and what would happen? Divide by negative 5. Okay, good. We'll do a couple more of these, then it just becomes redundant. You guys want to do 18 or 22? Okay.
Whichever one you want.
Thanks, Matthias. Sure. Okay, look. I see E. If I start off with E, what do I think of first? ln, natural log. What do I have to do, though, before I can take the natural log? Okay, we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. So I have negative 3e to the 9x minus 1 equals what? Negative 64. Then what? Divide by negative 3. Good. So e to the 9x minus 1 equals, okay, what is it? You could leave it as a fraction. 21.333. Okay. Now, how do I get e to go away? Take the ln of both sides. So 9x minus 1 equals whatever the natural log of 21.3333. Then what will we do once we got that number? Add 1, divide by 9. Good. Good. Is this seeming to be a little easier?
Yes.
Okay, don't forget, you still have 3, 1, and 3, 2.
What's that?
The first quiz we did with horizontal and the logs, exponentials. All right, this is not on your all's sheet, so write these 4 problems down. It's just some extra practice. Boys, write these 4 problems down. Come on. Same concepts, stuff you guys have seen before. This was on your quizzes. But even if you have something that's really looks complicated, looks like there's a lot going on, you can still condense it and expand it just using our properties of logs and our rules. Everybody got these? Got a picture or whatever? Okay. Done. If I start off with something like this, look, ladies and gentlemen, look. This is already condensed. It's already smushed together. I am going to work on pulling it apart. There is a lot going on in this problem. I have a numerator and a denominator. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to have some subtraction. And I also have a bunch of stuff in the numerator that's being what?
Added.
No. Look at it. It's being what right now? Multiplied. So in order to undo it, to pull it apart, we have to add. So watch. This is what I think you should do. I'm going to just write out the numerator. It's log 7 of 4 times x to the 1/2 times y.
Wait, I thought.
Right. That's why I'm going to show you that. And then I'm going to say minus, and I'm going to write the denominator, log 7 of z to the 3rd power. I want you guys to see, when you expand it, you are physically pulling every single thing apart. Now, since we're multiplying, each thing, either a number or a letter, gets its own log, and you're going to put an addition sign in between them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to rewrite this as log 7 of 4 plus log 7 of x to the 1/2. I see, if you see the 1/2 goes in front, fine. If not, I'm just trying to show you everything. Plus log 7 of y minus log 7 of z cubed. And then what is the last thing we have to do? All of our exponents become coefficients. So this would be log 7 of 4 plus 1/2 log 7x plus log 7 of y minus what? Minus 3 log 7 of z. Everything gets pulled apart. There's a lot going on in that problem. That's okay. You just follow the 3 simple rules. Very easy. Now, if we have something like these two where we have to solve, this threw a lot of you for a loop on your quizzes. I cannot cross off the log 7s because they're the same. What do I have to do? I have to condense them. How would I condense these 2 logs right now? Okay, so you're going to write log 7 of what?
2x times 8.
The 2x times 8, and that equals what? 0. So this is log 7, 16x equals 0. Now what do I do to solve this? Okay, so 7, and then this goes into the exponent, log 7 of 16x equals 7 to the 0 power. Seven log 7 does what? Cancels out. So you have 16x equals, what's 7 to the 0 power? 1. Guys, don't make a silly mistake there, make it 0. Put 7 to the 0 power in your calculator, it'll tell you it's 1. Now what? Divide by 16. Now remember, if the directions say to give the decimal equivalent, give the decimal equivalent. What's 1 divided by 16 in your calculator?
0.0625.
Okay. What about if this was x squared here at the end? What would you do?
You take the root.
You take the square root. So your answer would be what? Plus or minus 1/4 or 0.25. So make sure, guys, if you have x squared, you take the square root. Remember your plus or minus. And remember, you cannot take the log of a negative number. So if I get a negative and I plug it in, I got to make sure it doesn't make my logs negative. Yes, ma'am.
And how do you know if you should leave it as a fraction or divide it?
Because if the directions say to write in decimal form or whatever, that's what you need to do. All right, what about this one? Same concept. What do we do?
You do log 8 and then x squared times 3x.
Divided by 3x equals 4. You guys can simplify this. How can we simplify this? Yep. Log 8, what does it become? X over 3 equals 4. Same concept. How do I get log 8 to cancel out? Exponential. So it's 8 log 8 of x over 3 equals 8 to the 4th power. Then it just becomes algebra, guys. What's 8 log 8 cancels? So you have x over 3 equals, what's 8 to the 4th power? Yep.
Do you take x out of x squared over 3x?
Yep.
Where do you put that?
They cancel out. If you have x over x, 3x, they cancel out. What's 8 to the 4th power? 4,096.
Yep.
And then what do I do to both sides? Multiply by 3. So x equals, was it?
2288.
Do it again? Should be 12,288.
Yeah, 12,288.
288? Okay. Guys, remember, every time you get x equals, what can you do? To make sure that you're right. Plug it in. All right, I want to do one more and then we're done. If you have a problem like this, guys, do not create a different kind of math or anything like this. This is a factoring problem. We're going to say, okay, A times C. 5 times, negative 8 is negative 40. What are the factors of negative 40 that multiply to give me negative 40, but add to give me a negative 6?
Negative 10 positive 4.
Yep, negative 10, positive 4. Again, I don't know how you guys were all taught to factor when A was not 1. This is what I do. I'm going to take my A term and put it underneath both of my factors. What is 10 divided by 5? So I have e to the x minus 2. Does 4 divide by 5 pretty? So then 5 comes out here. You have 5 e to the x plus 4 equals 0. And then our last step is to do what? Set everything equal to 0. So e to the x minus 2 equals 0. I get e to the x equals 2. 5 e to the x plus 4 equals 0. I get e to the x equals negative 4/5. You guys see how I got those answers? And then what's the last thing? I have to get e to the x to go away.
With
Natural log. What is the natural log of 2?
0.69347.
Okay. What's the natural log of negative 4/5?
Can't do it.
Can't do it. If you get a negative answer here, that's okay. You can have a negative exponent. You cannot take the log of a negative number. You good? So everything from 3.1, 3.2 quiz, 3.3, 3.4 quiz is on your test tomorrow. There are 20 questions. You can use your calculator the whole time. I expect you guys have to finish it in the time allotted, so make sure these solving ones that we've done so many of them, it should be like clockwork for you guys to get through it.